And the only major war that I know about was
30 Years' War.
30 Years' War.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Steve.
And I'm David.
And you're listening to Anime Plus. We are on episode 7, talking about Orb on the movements of the Earth. This is episode 21 of Orb, and we are picking up where the last episode left off, where Draka and the 3 members of the Heretic Liberation Front, led by the gloriously mustachioed Schmidt, are dealing with the law enforcement.
Can we call him Schmidt-stachioed?
They get pulled over by some knights of the church and talk their way out of it, including a little diversion tactic from Draka, as one of the knights was asking them to donate some cloth, where she hands them her old mantle, and now she is fully committed to wearing the mantle that she had quote-unquote purchased off of Yolenta. So, better late than never, they finally make it to the meeting place where they meet up with a significant larger group of members of the Liberation Front. I forget the lead man's name, but he very much looked like Wayne Static. They get introduced to Draka. Everybody is kind of like, we got this thing to do. Okay, cool. And so they start working on getting the press set up to replicate the book. They run into a snag right away when some of the typeset were broken during transport, and Draka offers to allow them to use the coins that she had received when she heard that her father had been killed during a robbery attempt gone wrong. Things seem to be going well until things are no longer going well, and Frey finally reveals that he's the secret agent, and we were wrong.
Yeah, we were wrong.
So we had thought that Schmidt was the kid from earlier in the season whose parents had been cut down by members of their village as they were rejecting orthodoxy. We find out that that kid is actually Frey, and the entire incident of his family's murder emboldened his faith in the church. He had become a member of the organization as a way to take it down from the inside, and he starts by killing all of their horses and then confronts Schmidt. Schmidt wins the duel, kills him, right as Lewandowski shows up. But before they can really get any further than that, Schmidt tells the rest of the group that they've been sold out and that the church will be there soon, because Frey had informed the clergy of what was going on when they were in town gathering supplies earlier in the day. So they've come to an impasse now, where they're just going to have to shut down the operation, and everybody's going to have to scatter, and hopefully they can, whoever survives can regroup and continue the effort. Draka brings them with a different option of she escapes with all of this stuff to find other people to help her, and they cause a distraction to ensure her escape, trying to appeal to their sense of logic. And it's better to ensure that somebody leaves versus just hoping that a couple of people escape in the melee. They're resistant, so she challenges them to accept one of the two choices via fate. Fate has it that...
By the will of God, as she put it.
Yes, by the will of God. She flips a coin. Heads, we'll do it your way. Tails, we'll do it my way. Ends up heads. And so they begin to prepare to run away. When Schmidt flips the coin over and goes, second thought, guys, it was actually tails. And we're going to make sure that Draka escapes. And that's where the episode ends. So now we're in this pending standoff between the Order and the ensuing raid by the police, and whether or not Draka can escape with enough material to make all of this worthwhile and being able to spread the knowledge of heliocentrism. Another important thing is early on in the discussion with everybody as they're getting everything set up, they came to the decision through Draka's recommendation to attribute the authorship of the book to Yolenta, of which we finally learned that she has a last name, but I forgot what the last name was.
Something very Polish.
Yeah, that's the episode.
Yeah.
It was a good episode. It's Orb. I think at this point it's without saying that it was a good episode.
Also, finally reinforced the fact that this is actually in Poland, because the title of the book
was in Polish.
Is in Polish.
Yes.
And I'm just like, then why didn't you just say Poland at the beginning? Oh my God, this episode was...
I'm just glad that the thoughts I've had ever since we've moved into this arc, that one of these gentlemen that was not Schmidt was a traitor, finally came to fruition.
I'm glad it wasn't Lewandowski, because
he has kind of grown on me. He's a fun character.
He grew on me, and to his sympathetic backstory, I was just like, oh, please don't let this be a lie.
And if you think about it, in the previous episode when Draka was talking to everybody, she did not have a heart-to-heart conversation with Frey.
Yeah, no.
Flag of traitor. That fight between Schmidt and Frey was so
good.
It was so beautifully choreographed.
The image where it pans out and you see Schmidt holding the tip of the sword against Frey's throat was there's a chance I go back, take a screenshot of that, and make it the background on
your computer.
My computer, yeah.
Nice.
Because it was so powerful.
This
so
series
awe-inspiring.
The series overall is really, the artwork is very dark.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of scenes where we really don't get a lot of detail just because of how dark it is.
Mm-hmm.
And they will always intersperse these very brightly lit, impactful snapshots of events that are always cinematic and awe-inspiring. And this was definitely one of those.
It hammered home the point of Schmidt's skill as a sword fighter and his complete dedication to his convictions.
Mm-hmm.
I think the point of that was to show that, more of a show not tell, that Schmidt's dedication to his convictions were stronger than Frey's. That he doesn't need to be subversive about his convictions. Being strong in your own convictions is stronger than being subversive to fight against what you think is wrong.
He is 100% unapologetic in his worldview.
I could tell it was meant to reinforce the fact that being strong in your own beliefs is better than hiding behind smoke and mirrors to get your wants and desires handled. People respect someone that can
project confidence.
Yes. And Schmidt, this whole series, or this whole arc of this series,
he is just confidence.
Yeah, he's confidence.
Yeah.
Like the mustache twirls, the ability to freely and confidently talk about how he feels about his convictions, never questioning his convictions.
And just not even worry about when conflicts of his own convictions are brought up.
Yeah.
Mainly his thing of being anti-technology, but more than willing to use technology to further his anti-technology goals. He's like, no, ends justify the means. It doesn't matter.
Right.
This is my conviction. I'm going to get here.
Right. And the fact that too, he just doesn't give a fuck.
He is unwilling to let anything distract him from his goals.
Right. And what I mean by that is like when Draka challenged his worldview by saying that she doesn't even believe in a god, he's just like,
I'm shocked by that concept.
But I don't give a fuck.
And angered by it, but that's besides the point.
He literally just does the medieval equivalent of you do you, girly pop. I could tell there was something suspicious about Frey.
Yeah, he had been acting a little weird lately. I think he
was acting weird the entire time.
Well, I think we were thrown off because he was the one that was reading the book in the very first episode where we met the three. Lewandowski really felt like the one that was a wavering of intent at that point. He seemed rather suspicious in that first episode. Frey didn't. But as it went on, Frey did start to become suspicious in how he was trying to find out specific information from Schmidt about their plans and their future meeting points and what they were going to be doing. Well, it came true though. So he was the mole, and now he
has 2 extra windpipes. And
now we'll see a grand standoff between these heretics and the Knights of the Church as Draka tries to flee and find probably the Protestants to help her.
What's next? The Protestants!
Yeah. Well, we have 4 episodes left.
Or like she gets like gunned down by crossbows as she like runs up to like a church, and then Copernicus like picks up the books and is like, what's this?
I liked how Schmidt was eulogizing almost to the rest of the gathered men about what their mission will represent for the future.
Also, I was shitting my pants when the cops were opening the carriage at the beginning. I'm like, oh God. And then she's like, wait,
hold on.
Use my shawl or whatever.
And Schmidt had offered his cape, and the guy's like, oh, I can't obviously take such a fine cape. And he's like, well, fine, suit to you. And he put it back on, and then the knight went to go look into the carriage, and as David pointed out, got distracted by Draka. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out our main podcast on Fridays, where we're reviewing 3 currently airing shows: Zenshu, Ubel, Blatt, and Sakamoto Days. Otherwise, follow us on...
We're reviewing 2. Talking shit about one of them.
Still a review.
I wish I had 2 more hands so I can give this anime 4 thumbs down.
Yeah, don't forget to follow us on our socials. come harass us on Discord, and we will catch you guys next time. Thanks for listening.